There is a reason the enemy strikes before the day truly starts. If he can capture your first waking thoughts, he can steer your entire day. If he can plant a heavy seed of defeat while you are still lying in the dark, staring at the ceiling, he doesn't have to fight you at noon. You will do the work for him. I want to talk to you about something vital today. Something that shifts the atmosphere of your home, your mind, and your quiet hours. We need to talk about how to block those plans. Not with shouting, not with more exhaustion, but with a quiet, rooted authority. Take a deep breath. Settle your mind and stay with me here, because the silent battle you are facing right now, it ends differently than you think. We often picture spiritual battles as something loud, a sudden crisis, a visible storm, a clash of thunder that shakes the ground beneath us. And yes, sometimes life does hit us with the earth-shattering and the undeniable. But more often than not, the enemy's strategy is far less dramatic. He operates in the mundane. He hides in the friction of your routine. The enemy doesn't need to destroy your life in one sudden blow if he can just steal your peace every morning. He is a thief of focus, slipping through the unlocked windows of our quiet insecurities. A remembered failure suddenly fresh in your mind. A spike of anxiety about a bill, a strained relationship, a medical test. A vague, lingering sense that you are not enough for the demands of this day. It is the slow, silent erosion of your hope. The opposition you face isn't always designed to make you collapse. Sometimes the plan is simply to make you walk with a limp, so distracted, so consumed by the heavy things you cannot control that you forget the very real authority you have been given. When you wake up feeling like you are already behind, already failing before the sun comes up, recognize what that is. That is not your soul speaking the truth. That is an assigned weight, a deliberate tactic to keep your eyes fixed on the rough waves instead of the one who commands them. But Christ didn't walk this earth and endure what he endured so you could merely survive your mornings. He didn't offer his life so you could wake up bracing for impact every single day. He offered peace, not the fragile peace the world gives, the kind that disappears when the phone rings with bad news. He gave a rooted, defiant peace. There is a posture you can take before the day begins. A way to shut that window. We have to learn to stop negotiating with the morning anxiety. We have to stop entertaining those heavy thoughts as if they are inevitable facts. They are not facts. They are tactics, and you do not have to accept them. Before we go any further, I want to pause here, because recognizing that these are tactics, not facts, is the beginning. But knowing the enemy's strategy is only half the equation. The other half is knowing the specific authority Jesus already gave you, the kind encoded directly into his parables, hidden beneath the surface that most people read right past. The practical keys for blocking access to your peace, your finances, your relationships, your mornings. I left something in the first pinned comment below this video that goes into exactly that. Check it before we continue. What's there may be the missing piece that finally makes the blocking stick? There is a sacred window of time. It sits right between the moment you open your eyes and the moment you let the rush of the world in. Think of it as a quiet, empty room in your mind. Whoever speaks first in that room sets the tone for the rest of your day. If we are honest, most of us do not guard that door very well. We reach for our phones before we reach for His presence. We open our eyes, look at a screen, and immediately a flood of demands, bad news, and heavy obligations rushes in. We hand over the keys to our morning before we have even spoken a single word to our Creator. And just like that, the enemy quietly takes a seat at the table of your mind. But you have the authority to block the entrance. You can establish a perimeter around your peace. This is not about pretending your problems do not exist. The weight you are carrying is very real. The financial strain, the quiet loneliness, the family friction, those things do not magically disappear at sunrise. We are not ignoring reality, but we are deciding who gets to interpret that reality for us. We are deciding who gets to speak into our struggles first. When you wake up and that familiar heavy wave tries to pull you under, you do not have to agree with it. You can lie there in the stillness, take a deep breath, and silently declare, "Not today." This space is already occupied. You are setting the terms of engagement. You are telling the invisible opposition that your mind is not an open highway for doubt. Your spirit is not a dumping ground for fear. It takes practice, because our instinct is to panic, to mentally fix every broken thing before we get out of bed. We exhaust ourselves in imaginary arguments and phantom scenarios. That is exactly where the enemy wants you, exhausted by battles that aren't yours to fight. But there is a different way, a quieter, much stronger way. When you choose to surrender the hours ahead to God before your feet touch the floor, you are actively dismantling the traps laid in the dark. You are choosing surrender over control. And in the spiritual realm, that kind of quiet surrender is an impenetrable wall. So how do we actually block these invisible plans? The first instinct is to fight back, to push harder, to logic your way out of the anxiety. But you cannot outthink a spiritual opposition. You cannot outworry a spirit of fear. When you try to fight an invisible weight with your own human energy, you will just end up drained. The secret to blocking the enemy's plans is not in fighting harder. It is in hiding better. There is a profound comfort in the ancient words of the Psalms. You are my hiding place and my shield. A shield takes the impact so you do not have to. When you wake up and consciously place yourself behind the shield of God's presence, you let Him intercept the arrows of doubt before they pierce your thoughts. You are saying, "Lord, my life is in your hands." Those are not just empty words. They are a declaration of territory. When the enemy whispers that your situation is permanent, that your dreams are out of reach, you do not have to argue. You simply point to the one standing in front of you. There is a powerful promise in Exodus. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Holding your peace doesn't mean you are passive or giving up. It is a deeply active, courageous stance, the quiet confidence of someone who knows exactly who is standing guard at the door of their life. When you yield your morning to Him, you step out of the line of fire. You let His grace surround you, His truth grow louder than your doubts. And in that quiet, surrendered space, the enemy's plans fall apart. Nothing to grip, nothing to land on. We hear the phrase spiritual battle and we instantly feel tired. But the protection God offers for your morning is not a heavy burden you have to carry. It is a quiet truth you are invited to stand in. What you are feeling right now, that shift, that quiet recognition that you do not have to carry this alone, that is exactly the moment the enemy tries hardest to reclaim, because he knows what is on the other side of this understanding. And here is what I have come to see. The people who stay protected are not the ones who feel it most in moments like this. They are the ones who found the specific practical keys Jesus already encoded for them, hidden inside the parables, for exactly this kind of morning battle. Keys about authority, provision, peace that holds. It is all in the first pinned comment below this video. Go find it before the day pulls you away from this moment. When you look at the raw facts of your life, the bank account, the diagnosis, the deep silence in a strained relationship, the evidence can look incredibly heavy. So, the enemy loves to use facts, statistics, history, probabilities. He arranges every logical reason why this painful season will never change. And if you walk by sight alone, you will agree with him. You will accept defeat before you even leave your home. But you were not called to navigate your mornings by what you see with your natural eyes. To block the plans set against you, you have to deliberately choose which reality you are going to trust today. The temporary reality of your current struggle, or the eternal, immovable reality of God's nature. There is a profound, unseen shift that happens when you decide that your God is bigger than whatever is waiting for you today. It doesn't mean the mountain in front of you magically disappears. The obstacle might still be standing there when you walk outside. That difficult conversation might still need to happen. The grief or the worry might still be a familiar ache in your chest. But you are different. You are stepping into the hours ahead wrapped in a quiet authority, no longer defined by the struggle, but anchored by the Creator who has already walked into your tomorrow. The giant in your day may be real, but the God who holds your breath is infinite. When you plant your feet on the floor with that realization, the opposition loses its leverage. The traps may still be hidden in the grass, but you walk past them, guided by a different voice, refusing to drink from the cup of anxiety that was so carefully poured for you in the dark. The real target of this invisible opposition is not your job, your finances, or your health. Those are just the battlegrounds. The actual target is your trust. The enemy doesn't simply want to make you suffer. He wants to make you cynical. He wants you to look at the string of difficult mornings, the unanswered prayers, the lingering silence, and conclude that you are entirely on your own. He wants you to wake up, stare at the ceiling, and quietly whisper, "What is the point of even hoping today?" That is the quietest, most devastating plan of all, the slow, methodical draining of your expectation. When you are facing a relentless, everyday opposition, it is easy to reason with probabilities, the history of hardship, the sheer height of the mountain, human logic whispering that you should prepare for the worst. The world tells you to lower your expectations so you won't be hurt again. But we are not called to live by the cold calculus of the world. To block the enemy's plan, we have to recognize that our belief is the very thing he is trying to steal. When you wake up and feel that heavy fog of doubt rolling in, that is the exact moment to ask for one specific thing: help to overcome unbelief. You do not have to muster up flawless faith before you get out of bed. That is an exhausting myth. You just bring your fragile, bruised faith to Him and say, "Lord, I am tired. I am struggling to believe that things will change. Help me in my unbelief." Myers, there is immense power in that kind of raw honesty. When you stop pretending you are strong enough to fight alone and lean completely into His grace, you disarm the enemy. He expects you to either crumble or exhaust yourself trying to be strong. He has no defense against a broken, honest heart that simply chooses to hide in the shadow of God. That is how you turn a morning battlefield back into a sanctuary. If you are still here with me right now, near the end of this video, I want to invite you to subscribe to our channel and walk with us every day. There is a specific kind of weariness that comes from thinking you are the only one fighting these quiet morning battles. We often carry these invisible burdens in complete silence, believing everyone else has it all together. But you are not alone. There is a whole community of us right here, learning to guard our peace one morning at a time. So let us get back to your morning, because tomorrow the sun is gonna rise again. And when it does, that old familiar weight will probably try to settle on your chest before you even open your eyes. But tomorrow is going to be different. You are not going to lie there and absorb the anxiety. You are going to establish your authority. In Luke, it says, "We have been given the authority to tread over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall hurt us." It doesn't say the doubt and fear will vanish. It says you have the authority to walk right over them. You walk over them by refusing to let them dictate your day. You step over the fear by speaking a different truth into the quiet. There is a profound shift that happens when you use your actual voice in the stillness of your room. You don't have to shout. A whisper in the dark is loud enough in the spiritual realm. Just quietly say, "My life is in His hands. This day is already spoken for." And your thing. When you do that, you are doing more than thinking positively. You are actively shutting down the enemy's access point. You are taking the raw, unprocessed fear of the unknown and handing it directly to the one who already knows your beginning and your end. You are reminding your own soul that you do not have to have all the answers, because you are walking with the one who does. That is how you turn the tide before the day even begins. You stop negotiating with the shadows, stop predicting the statistics of your struggle, and start trusting the nature of your God. You draw a line in the sand before your feet ever touch the floor. Tomorrow morning, the room will be dark again. That familiar whisper will try to find its way back, testing the locks on the door of your mind. But you know the strategy now. You recognize the quiet footfalls of the opposition. You do not have to wake up as a casualty of an unseen war. You do not have to brace for the first heavy thought that tries to settle on your chest. You are allowed to rest, even while you are awake. The enemy has spent a lifetime convincing you that if you don't fight every single worry, you will lose everything. He wants you running on empty before breakfast, so focused on the storm that you forget who is sitting in the room with you. But true protection isn't found in your exhaustion. It is found in your quiet, deliberate surrender. Let the opposition exhaust itself against the shield of your faith. Let the anxiety strike his presence and fall harmlessly to the ground. You don't have to pick up the broken pieces. You just stay behind the shield. You just keep walking. Your day does not belong to the loudest fear. It belongs to the one who numbers your days, who collects your tears, and who has already commanded the morning long before you even opened your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath right now. Let the weight of that truth settle into your bones. Before you go, the first pinned comment is still there. What I left inside gives you the specific keys Jesus encoded for blocking access to your peace at the root level. Not just for this morning, for every morning after. Go find it before the day begins. The window is still open. Don't leave it unguarded. If these words brought some quiet peace to your restless mind today, please subscribe to the channel and stay with us. Take a moment to share this video with 5 people in your life. You never know who is secretly dreading tomorrow morning. You never know who is fighting a heavy, silent battle they haven't spoken a single word about. Before you go, leave a sincere comment below. Tell me what is weighing on your mind today and let me know what topic we should sit down and reflect on in our next video. The battle for your day is finished before your feet even touch the floor. Rest well tonight, and tomorrow, wake up protected.